Hello, what's up, guys? Welcome to Mixing with 82K. In this specific video, I'm gonna be talking about cleaning Amapiano drums, uh, mixing Amapiano drums in a professional way. So I'm gonna have to start from the kick. Also, I'm going to tell you what plugins you can use as well. So speaking of Amapiano drums, we don't need a lot of plugins, things like compressors and all that, because at the end of the day, we want to make them softer. So, um, back then when I was trying to discover which way I can clean up my Amapiano drums, that's when I realized that okay, you just don't need a lot of plugins because once you start sticking plugins, compressors, what, and what, so it's going to be too much. And there are only two elements that are important when you're mixing Amapiano that you must make sure that they're sitting proper in the mix. If those two things not really okay, then the rest of your percussions might not be okay. So um, the first element is the kick. And speaking of Amapiano kicks, right? So we have nowadays, like we have like two different types of Amapiano kick. We have softer kicks, for example, um like this one. So and then we have this type of kicks, the 707 type kick. So these kicks, they are used in a different genres. Bagadi Amapiano is like a subgenre of Amapiano called Bagadi. So it uses this kick sometimes, in fact, most of the times, and also these ones too as well. And then we've got the other regular Amapiano songs that just use these softer kicks. So I'm going to give you the tips how you're gonna mix this kick, the softer one, and how you're gonna approach the mixing for this harder one. Okay, cool. So um what you wanna make sure is you don't you must not have a lot of body, which is this. For example, let's say I do something like this. uh okay, cool. Let me just do this here. All right, and then I'm gonna stretch up this waveform like this. Okay, cool. So I'm saying you want to make sure that your kicks are short, something like this. That's the first thing. So you want to make sure that your kicks are short, not to be long like this, because once they become long like this, they will crash with what is it, with your basses, your log drums, because your log drum might also want to sustain, and then your kicks are sustaining, so it might not be okay. So it depends with the also the type of the kick. So when you're choosing samples, you must make sure that you're choosing samples that are actually quite good enough so that you won't spend more time on mixing. But don't worry, I got you on this video. I'm gonna show you which way you can handle any Amapiano kick. So let's start. So for example, let's say you have this type of a kick. Let me just loop here. Uh, like this one, the one that is like a long. So you wanna need a transient shaper. So I'm gonna go to plugins. Those are the only when you're mixing Amapiano drums. Actually, you don't need a lot of plugins. I'm gonna show you. So we're gonna pick transient shaper, and then we put it here. So you wanna make sure that I'm gonna remove this EQ for them at the moment. So for you to get rid of this, you're gonna have to use the transient shaper, and then you can lower the, you see, you can lower the sustain. You can even try to do this. Okay, cool. And you can even try to add a little bit of attack so that it can be punched. So you can actually see here and before and then now. Okay, cool. So let me move on. But in this case, I have a kick that is already tighter, which is the one I'm using now at the moment, which is this. All right. Okay, cool. So speaking of the one that I'm playing right now, if you want to approach transient shaping, it depends. I must listen carefully that do I need that transient shaper, or I don't need a transient shaper. So a transient shaper is like my go-to plugin when I'm mixing Amapiano kicks. So you can even adjust. Maybe if you see like it's too tight, you can try to boost up. Depend on how what you're feeling. So in this case, mine, I'm just gonna try to maybe lower a little bit, to make it a little bit um uh more tighter, and to add a little bit of some attack. And then that's all for this kick. And then this same way of using transient shaper, you can also do it on this type of kicks as well. The 707 for Amapiano Bacardi. Let me solo here. Even if you can actually see that there is this like, so you can grab the transient shaper plugin. So you can just lower, and you can try doing something like this. And then the second plugin that you might want to add um, is the EQ. So speaking of the EQ, I do treat these kicks in a similar way when I'm using an EQ. So I'm going to show you how I do it. Okay, so I'm going to load the EQ on the first one, and then on the second one here. All right, sure. So what I like looking forward to do is to check if I don't have um more punch, especially on this section, because these frequencies from lower to somewhere close to mid range, to lower mid range, that's where we have like also log drums and other sounds. So we want to make sure that our kick is not much dominating on that point. Just so let me play it. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna have to come, and you can actually see this is the around 100 Hz, especially on this kick. So I'm talking about maybe the second fundamental, which is, for example, with this first frequency here that I can see this U over here, and then I'm talking about the second one. So we can try to go or there exactly on that second one, and then let's try to remove. You see this? So we are removing this. Boo, boo, boo. We are making like, you understand? So yeah, cool. And then speaking of this side, it depends on how much do you want your kick to be snappy or brighter. So if you really want it to knock, especially on this specific 707 kick, you could try to uh, do something like this, or you could try to find uh, some frequencies to boost around this area. Guys, I recommend you not to do a lot, not to post and cut. Just make it simple. And then the other thing that I like to do is to make sure that I have this 20 or 15 activated. So now I did this, so I'm gonna cut it exactly from 20 or maybe 15, somewhere there, just like this, in case we all know what does this mean. All right, so cool. And then let me go back to the first kick, which is the softer kick, and listen to it and decide what can I do with the EQ. But like I said, with the EQ, I'm always doing the similar things. Okay, cool. So now, so I'm gonna have to come. Actually, I can see here, like this is my first fundamental. Like I can see like this big U. So the second one that I can see it is here. So I might want to lower this so that I can make it transparent. Like so Amapiano kicks, especially these soft ones, they don't have to be knocking with so much punch. They just have to be there like a transparent sound, like not to be much up front. So cool. And then I might also do the same thing, cutting around 20 somewhere there, or to go a little bit backward here, maybe 15, 17. I don't know. Anyway, let me move forward. So now, cool. So let me just find a section where I can just audition these kicks nicely. And here, if my EQ is fine and my transient shaper is okay. Okay, cool. So these two plugins that I talked about, the EQ and the transient shaping, those are the only important plugins that you can use. So speaking of EQ, you can use any EQ, depend on your software. If you're on FO Studio, if you wanna use if you're on Ableton Live, then you wanna maybe stick to the stock, it's up to you. But like I said, speaking of an EQ, see if there's some frequencies maybe that you can try to remove somewhere here, lower mid range or close to lower end, so that your log drums and your other basses might to take like to play to stand out on the mix. And then the other plugin that I mentioned is the transient shaper, the one that we're using to give our kicks control in terms of the sustain, the attack, even the punch of it. So, um, if you are looking for a good transient plugins, I recommend you trying to get this one, Kilohertz Transient Shaper. It's a simple tool, just a simple and less CPU, and I like it. And then the second one that I prefer is from Isotope, which is called let me just search transient. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to go to Isotope folder and pick this one. So I also have other examples. Okay, before I go to those examples, yeah, but this is the plugin. Let me just show you how it looks. Okay, cool. That's it actually. So in this plugin, I'm gonna use it. So let me keep doing let's move on. All right, cool. So after you get your kick proper, the next thing that you want to make sure that it's cleaned is the shakers only. So now I'm going to have to click solo on shakers like this. Cool. So to clean shakers, you need the same recipe as well that you're using on your kick, EQ and transient shaping. All right, so now I'm going to have to drag um, um, that transient shape again. So I'm gonna come here, kilohertz, and then transient shaper. Cool. So right, most of the shakers, you wanna make sure that most of the shakers that we use in Amapiano, to my own listening, I feel like they'll be having more sustain too. So if you try to lower the sustain, you make them tighter, and they'll sit well in the mix. So for example, I'm gonna have to maybe activate a few elements here. In fact, let me just activate everything. For example, let me just play. So I'm gonna have to or let me play it from this side where we don't have a lot of things. I'm gonna mute this one, and what else is playing there? Let me try to play from me. Okay, so you can actually hear that our kick is actually sitting well. Let me try to do before and after for the kick while I'm playing with other sounds. See? It needs to be controlled a little bit. So here we go again. Yeah. Now I like it this way. And then now, so I'm saying for the shakers, we do the same thing again. So I want to mute one and play one, because I have two shakers. I have this loop here, like a house loop that I chopped, and I have this one. So I'm gonna start with this one. So right, so this is how you're gonna make them tight. All right, you can hear. So let me click solo. Okay, cool. So once they're like this, like there will be too much. If you actually listen, so it's too much. So you wanna make sure that you have your shakers tighter. You see, what I'm doing now. Even on this second one as well, I can grab a transient shaper there, put it, and even just a little bit if I want, and even try to enhance with some attack. And then let me try to play this, and you can hear that like your song will start to have that discipline to be clean. So I'm gonna have to raise these shakers a little bit up. So if I remove the transient shapers, let me remove one and remove. I'm gonna play. Before it was like this. You hear that shakers are just over, like they're just too much. And then with our transient shaping, they become a little bit clean, just like this. Okay, and then the last thing that you wanna do on the shakers is the EQ again. So let me grab the EQ quick. Okay, EQ. All right, cool. So on your EQ, you wanna make sure that you don't have much low end. Also, your high frequencies are controlled. So this might not be okay at the moment, even if it's not that audible. I just wanna remove it. So hey, I can do something like this, and then I can grab any band here and just see if I can find out a frequency that is making noise. And the other thing, guys, I'm using one headset. My headsets are not playing both like or just one side. This is the side that is playing. But then I feel like it's okay. Guys, it's not a matter of just coming on an EQ, just boost and cut. Maybe, but the cutting is a little bit better. Okay, let me do this. Okay, yeah, maybe we can just remove some here. Let me do this. All right, cool. So yeah, transient sharpening and EQ, those are like killer plugins for cleaning your Amapiano drums. Now I'm gonna have to grab an EQ on this one, but I don't feel like. Let me just try to boost here. Yeah, you see, I'm just adding present this, so it's not a matter of just cutting. And like I said, you just have to listen and 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 make a decision. You understand? So I think it's okay. I don't wanna do any log and cutting there. What I just did now, I think I'm fine with that. So we're gonna leave it like that. So if I remove all this, you see, even the panel is not really up there, but with transient shaping and EQ, you can hear it. Yes, you can even add more of this transient. Sustain. But I think I like it this way. And let me, yeah, before now. Yeah. I like it, guys. Transient Shaper, EQ, those are the best plugins to fix your Amapiano drum problems. So now, let's say you're dealing with loops. No, before I talk about loops. The rest of these percussions, which will be other things, for example, like these things, they'll start to they'll start to sound nice and mix once you're done cleaning your shaker and making your kick sit well. Those are the two important things: kick and shakers. The rest you can just mix them the way you want. Even you want to drag an EQ, you want to try to compress, what yeah, it can be up to you. But like I said, piano drums, sometimes we don't use much on some of these percussions. Maybe you might try to add some reverbs, you know. So on this specific video, I'm not going to go through all this single, like mixing all this single application, like putting EQs and what and cutting. Like I said, I just want to give you a proper uh what is it tip when you're cleaning your Amapiano drums, or I'm showing you how you're gonna clean them only using two simple plugins, EQ and a transient shaper. Okay, cool. Let me move on to loops. Let's say you are dealing with a loop like this. Okay, let me try. I have a second example. Okay, cool. I can even start with this example. So let's say you're using a loop like this. So you wanna do something on this loop. So the first thing that you wanna check to clean this drum is, do you have it balanced the way you want in terms of frequencies? So for basically, if I do something, oh, okay, let me just do it. It's okay. What can I do? In fact, I'm gonna have to grab infinite EQ. I'll show you how you're gonna deal with this type of drum loops. I'm searching for the EQ. So infinite EQ from Slate Digital plugin. So you can use infinite EQ or Fab Filter. So I'm gonna have to grab Fab Filter Pro Q. So here we go again, Pro Q. All right, cool. All right, so how you gonna clean this loop that I have is you play, like I said, first thing is you wanna make sure that you have it balanced on in terms of like frequency before you start doing a lot. So now, for you to see that, if you can't hear nicely or if you're not sure which section you're gonna boost or cut on Fab Filter, you just move your mouse and leave it down here. So I'm playing, okay, somewhere here. You see that like the spectrum frequency, like you can see, it is now pausing, and you can see where it's loud and where it's not loud. You understand? So now, what you can do is up to you now to see how you're gonna deal with this. So you can see that it's a little bit hollow. It's like this, right? So if you wanna have this a little bit balanced, I might do something here, right? I might come here and make it a little bit wider. All right, cool. And I might also just have another one like this, and just maybe do something like this, because I'm gonna boost this section that you see here. Cool. All right, and then if you have also maybe other frequencies that you're hearing or that are too much, you can as well dive deep. But at this point, I'm gonna have to try to cut a bit of highs here and hear how it's gonna sound. So I'll pick this one. Okay, just a little bit. So now I'm gonna have to boost here again. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna have to switch on and off this EQ. Okay, wait, it was like this now. Okay, cool. And then the next thing that you wanna add there, this side, like I said, yeah, you can do something there. You might just maybe you can try to cut maybe from 20 or something like that. Yeah, let me change the octave to 96. So where am I? I'm on 15. Okay, cool. Actually, when I'm cutting, I like following the waveform. So you can see like the waveform is like this. So I'm not going to use this type of a cutting, which is too like sloppy like this. So I can come back to the octave. Maybe I pick this one, and I can even try to move it this side, because this gonna make it this gonna make it smooth, like gonna make it smooth. Yeah. So this side, I'm not going to do any cutting. I might end up losing the height. So now after doing this, okay, just like this with the EQ. Okay, cool. And then now the next thing that you wanna add there, like I said, you can use Pro Q, but my favorite one is Infinite. It is Infinite, because if I play, you see, I just like the fact that you just see this visual steady as compared to the other EQs. So yeah, so you can come here and boost. You can even come here. So I'm gonna have to, yeah, the fifth filter is muted, so I'm gonna use this one. Now I can see my frequencies, even if I cannot hear properly because of the headphones that I'm wearing. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna do something like this, yeah, and maybe to boost something like this, yeah. Okay, cool. And then I'm gonna have to cut a bit of some lows from this side, just like this. Okay, before, after, that's simple. So the other thing that you might want to add there is the the exciter. You can try fresh air. Okay, cool. But that is if it's necessary. So maybe we can make it. See? We can make the drums to be a little bit more crispy, bright. Yeah. For example, let's say if you used a lot of EQ, maybe cutting frequencies. Yeah, so you might as well come back and use plugins like this just to compensate this thing. Yeah. So yeah, they're becoming a little bit more crispy. Oh, I like that. So cool. So let me just switch on and off this. Okay, let me select. Okay, you see, before and then after. You see, cool. And then to clean. Don't forget that plugin again, Transient Shaper. All right, cool. So with the Transient Shaper, it's up to you. If you wanna make them like this, or you wanna clean, make your drums to be more tighter so that they fit nice here with the other instruments. You can try to emphasize the attack of. Oh, I like it. Okay, cool. And maybe the other thing that you might want to do is to do the stereo. So for the stereo, we can try anything that you have. So I'm gonna have to pick utility, and then from here I'll click mono. So I'm gonna make sure that my low frequency is maybe from somewhere 90 something going backward to lower. Then I'm on mono and just have adjust here. And I'm not sure how it's sounding because I'm using one headset, or we can just skip the stereo thingy. We can just remove it because I can't actually hear. But you can try something like that, or you can use any plugin. For example, ozone what is it, image, for example, image ozone image all right, where am I? Okay, ozone 10 image, yeah. Oh, here we go. So you just gonna come here like this, and then maybe you click solo here, and then you just make this to be more wider. and you must make sure that this thing is always up, not to be below 0, because you might end up going out of phase. Okay, cool. So I think I like it like this. So like this, and you can activate this sterilize if you want, and but let's not do more. If you clipping plugins, you just come, maybe you lower a little bit, just like this. Yeah. So without this, okay, with this, okay, cool. I think I like it this way with the isotope imager. Although I can't properly hear the good stereo, because I'm using my headsets are playing one side. Okay, cool. And then once you're done with this transient shaping and what like, in fact we are done. So let me just put these effects in a group. We do A and B of this. So before and then with the effect. Yes, I like it. I like it. I like it. You understand? And actually, if I start to play, let me just try to add sounds. You can hear, like we can hear our snares knocking everything, and our drums are crisp. Let me switch off the effect. You hear? We are losing our drums on the mix. We are losing them. Oh, okay. They're a little bit better. Okay. Yes. So that's how you're gonna clean like your Amapiano drums. EQ. If you're dealing with kicks, just transient shaping and EQ. Compression, yeah, I don't know if you're gonna do compression. And speaking of shakers, the same thing, EQ, right? And transient shaping, just to make your drums to be clean. And then if you are dealing with loops, you want to make sure that you do the same thing as well. You must make sure that you have your drums balanced in terms of frequencies. Like, yeah, you must make sure that everything is okay, and then you want to make sure that you have your drums are knocking. I mean that your drum loop is knocking nice. If it's not, add a transient shaper, more attack. You add a little bit of attack here, and then you can lower the sustain to make your shakers to be clean, or to make your drums to be tighter. And then this is an additional, if it is necessary, if you wanna maybe add a little bit more stereo, but like I said, avoid making this to play zero, because for example, if we crank it that much, you see it to go out of phase. Yeah. So now I have the last loop example that we're gonna clean, which is this one. Okay. So if you actually compare this loop and with the one that I was playing, you're gonna hear that this one is a little bit lazy. It does not have a lot going on. So this one seems like there's a lot. So it's easy. So now we are going to do the same thing as well. So we're gonna have to grab even the imager in case. So I just drag the imager there. I'm muting it. So we're gonna start with the transient shaping as well. So transient shaping, transient shaper. Here we go with the transient shaper. So on this one, I'm not going to use this transient shaper. We are going to pick the second transient shaper, which is the neutron. So these transient shapers, those are like my favorite plugin. My go-to is this one, but if you wanna do a little bit more advanced, is this one. The reason why this one is my go-to, less CPU, simple to use, and you can see even the plugin is too small. It does not just yeah. So, but if I wanna do real stuff, I'll switch to this one. So now I'm gonna have to switch to this one. So So when I'm listening to this, you can do something like this. You can just maybe come up with a bend and quick line. All right, cool. So now we have like low, we've got mid, we've got high. So you can actually process the transient shaper on different frequencies, the lows, the mid. So let me solo the lows. Okay, cool. So I don't want more sustain on the lows. So I'm gonna have to do this a little bit. Okay, and I'm gonna have to enhance the attack a little bit. Okay, cool. So now let me just solo the So here I want more attack as compared to this attack that I just posted on the lows. So I want this part like to knock. I can even try to come here because I just want to enhance this snares, whatever to have more punch, and then I'm gonna lower this as well a little bit. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna have to solo the highs and make a decision for the highs. All right, cool. Okay, the lows are activated. So I wanna reduce it. So I'm gonna do this. Yeah, you see? All right, cool. And then let me not mess with the sustain because I've been removing sustain from this side. So let me play this. Oh, can you hear? And then now let me remove let's do A and B. Let me bypass it. You see? It's just too much. And then maybe I can also use this one after this one just to do final tweaking of the overall sound. Maybe just to do this a little bit. Yeah, and attack again just a little bit. And then now the next thing that I want to add here is the exciter. In this case, I'm gonna pick neutron exciter. At first, I used fresh air to enhance to saturate the highs on this drum. So I'm gonna have to pick neutron exciter. All right, cool. Alright, cool. So I'm just gonna maybe select this part here and click swell. And I like to choose tape and just crank just a little bit, or maybe try to do high tone here. Alright, cool. So this, no, now I don't like the sound of the because of this. Yeah, even I'm gonna have to restore the attack as well on this. I feel like it's added too much, or something like this. Yeah, like I said, guys, I'm using one headset. I'm just showing you how to clean Amapiano drum loops or Amapiano drums and which plugins to use. Yeah, that's it. So that's what you do, and then after you make sure that you have them, maybe like you are happy with the cleaning, then you can maybe grab your EQs and do exactly what we did on the first drum loop, in terms of you want to make it balanced in terms of frequency, or what else do you want to do. Do you want to enhance stereo and more? But I recommend you not to do more, because once you start to do more, it will add a lot of plugins. I don't know, it's up to you. So yeah, it's time to play this project. Guys, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to my channel. Someone is calling me. Let me just answer this call. I'm sorry guys, give me a second. Hello. Ndikumbuka kukufonera maybe ndiripo, ndikumbuka kukufonera maybe after ngatingoti 10 past 10. Alright. Okay, sharp. Ndokufundira manje. Okay, guys, I was like, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because you guys, if you do that, you are motivating me to do more. Yeah, I'll be coming up with good stuff. So let me play the beat, guys, so that you can enjoy. Our drums are a little bit clean. Only clean the shakers. The rest of the instruments, it's up to you. You can do the according to what you want. Adding reverbs, EQ, what. But make sure that these important things are properly fixed. Your kick is sitting well on the mix. Your shakers are actually clean. They don't have much sustain. They're sitting well, so that the other instruments, and even when you play it on the cell phone, you must get it nice and clean. Kaboom! Thank you guys. I love you. See you on the next video. Bye.